Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillahi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa man ihtada bihudahu wa ba'du. I think we had a long break, and hopefully that we will be able to move on to the characteristics of a husband. Now, it is the time for the ladies to have fun. First characteristic that are required in a man, and each one of us must scrutinize himself and see, does he fit these conditions? Because I believe the last session you were only nodding your head and looking down. Whenever I mentioned the quality of the wife, I said, nope, nope, nope. Everything is no. So now you're thinking, am I leading a happy life? Should I continue in this marriage? Before you take a decision, let's check your checklist yourself. So among the characteristics of a husband, he should have moral conduct and good character. And what is meant by moral conduct and good character? He should be a nice person to live with. There are certain characteristics in an individual that makes it very difficult to do so. I have friends. Among my friends, there are people that are so sensitive, I do not want to be friends with them. Some of my good friends now, alhamdulillah, I managed to change them with the grace of Allah. But it was very difficult at the beginning, because after every time we meet, when I go home, I receive a phone call. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh Asim, you said this, and this was not appropriate. I had it in me, I had to tell you about it. I felt very sad because you said this joke. Or because I'm looking at the guy, he's not looking at me because it's the phone. Why are you doing this? So I feel guilty whenever I sit with him. I am always conscious of, let me not say anything wrong. But then I found out that this is not a good quality. I, as a person, I'm never offended. If you come to me and you say, Sheikh, you're this, you're that, and you laugh and you joke about me, I'm an easygoing person. If I don't like it, I'm going to tell it to you in your face. Not in reference to disrespect. No, I'm talking about, if you make a joke about me that I do not like, I'm going to give you another joke in your face. But I'm not going to go home depressed, and when I meet you next time, I'm going to do this to you now. I'm going to plot. How can I undermine his work? How can I do this and destroy? No. There are people like this. There are people who you fear talking to. And that is why the Prophet ﷺ said, among you, you will find the worst of men are those who people avoid, being afraid of their foul language or of their evil acts. There are people, good Muslims, mashallah, practicing, but when people mention their name, say, oh, don't invite him. He's bad company. We would like to have, our comfort, and we'd like to sit together. If he comes, he's going to destroy it. Some husbands are like this. No, a real husband is easygoing. If your husband, excuse me, husbands, if your husband is the one who's picky, you're making your wife live in hell. I know one of my close friends and relatives, when he goes home, if he sees something like this, he'll go, La hawla wa la quwwata, in front of his wife. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. So the wife is always intimidated, in fear. Everything has to be the smallest detail. If the wife cooks for 3 hours in the kitchen and brings the food and happy and puts lettuce and puts cucumbers and decorating it, the first bite, there's no salt. The second bite, it's not cooked well. The third bite, he grabs the dish and he throws it in her face. Wallahi, I know this. I have lots of stories to tell you, but I don't want to make the brothers who are not married afraid. No. Let us continue. So he has to be in an excellent state of moral conduct and good character. Give me examples. I'll give you examples. He has to be generous. So generosity is a beautiful attribute in a man. And so many, I repeat, so many of your shortcomings disappear when you're generous. Now, married people, when was the last time you brought a gift to your wife? Less than a month? Raise your hands. MashaAllah. Come on, don't. If you think and you, okay. Less than 2 weeks, raise your hands. The same people, huh? So, less than 1 week. MashaAllah. Okay, less than 6 months. So we have a problem, huh? The Prophet says, Tahadu, complete. In Arabic, nobody knows Arabic. Tahadu mean exchange gifts. Tahabu, and you will fall in love. And this is something I love in the people of India. I don't have this, huh? So please do not do this to me. Whenever they come and visit me, the brothers that come and visit me in my home, they bring gifts. When I come here, they bring me gifts. Yahi, you're making me embarrassed. We don't have this culture in Saudi Arabia. Yani, we don't exchange gifts. The people of India, from all types of India, they always give me gifts. Small gifts, which very good. But this is embarrassing because I cannot repay them for this. But this shows you that the Muslims of India have love in them because they exchange gifts, and Allah Azza wa Jalla loves them for this. So the husband has to be generous. Now, being generous, that does not mean that he spends his money unwisely. No. Ya akhi, being generous to your wife could be very little. Yani, whenever I travel, on the plane, there are sales for air sales. So I get the catalog, and I look at the cheapest thing, and say, no, you want this one, I want this one. And I take two. It has to be the same price, unfortunately, because I don't want to go to hell. It's difficult. Well, think about it again, huh? Even the perfumes, the 5 riyals difference, not good. It has to be exactly the same. So I have to, and I bring it to my wife, and they're so happy with this. They love it. Although it's nothing. If I see, and this is not very often, but sometimes, you know, they sell flowers, and if you're in the car, and necklace of flowers. This is an Egyptian way of doing it, and then it's happening. 5 riyals. I buy one and one. I have to hide the other one because it's not in the day of that one. It's a lot of pain and headache, but it has an impact. It has an impact on your spouse. Now compare this with someone who does not give gifts, with someone who makes very ration. He rations the food he brings, and every time he checks the refrigerator. Yesterday there were 5 sodas. Now there is 1. Who drank the 4? She says, I drank 2, and your son, and we had the guest. Why did you drink 2? 2 is too much. Come on. We have to save money. We have to do this. We have to do that. Now this is a very bad character. In a man, it's a very bad character. Now, second part of moral conduct, he has to be truthful. He has to be honest. He has to say the truth. And a lot of the men lie, are professional liars. Now, saying this, lying is permissible in Islam. Only in 3 cases. 1, to reconcile between 2 who are having a fight. So you lie to him, and get them together. Good. 2, in war. And 3, husband and wife, which is a minor war. So we have major war, we have minor war. So a lot of the brothers misunderstand this hadith. Where are you? I'm at work. He's telling his friends, shh. When are you coming? I have late shift. And some of them, Asim, come to work, please. Come, we have a lot of job to do. And he hangs up. He said, the Prophet said lying. No, this is not the lying that the Prophet meant, alayhi salam. What kind of lying then? It is the beautiful, permissible lying that increases the love. My wife comes to me wearing a dress. She said, how do I look? And I say, if I pose, then I will get one of the high heels. Just posing. So imagine if I say, what is this? Come on, this is 15 years old dress. Someone who's 15 years, you are a grandmother. What are you wearing? You crazy? People will laugh at you. This is bad. So seriously, when my wife comes with a new dress, she says, what do you think? I said, MashaAllah, you're making the dress look very beautiful. She smiles and looks at me, says, liar. She knows. She knows how I often try to make her happy by lying. But this is, alhamdulillah, halal lying. Now imagine if this kind of lying is not there. Would they love each other? Sometimes the husband, you know, after coming from the toilet, putting on his shirt, he's doing this in the mirror. She says, honey, how do I look? She said, you look like a big piece and chunk of meat. What do you look? Instead, no, a wise and sensible wife says, MashaAllah, you are my knight in shining armor. This increases the love. And so many times, truthfulness is a cause of destruction of your marriage. And the people come and say, Wallahi, I don't want to lie. My wife told me, do you love me? Asked me, do you love me? I said, no. I don't want to lie. No, this is stupid. You are truthful in everything else. But when it comes to your love to your wife, no. You have to sugarcoat it, you have to be diplomatic, so that you would increase the love. And this is halal. But in other things, no, you never lie. A Muslim never lies. So many times I see brothers going out, the young child, 3 years, 4 years, Daddy, can I come with you? I said, no, I'm going to the hospital to take an injection. He's lying. What would the child do? I don't want to go. I'm not crazy. But this is very bad, because the child would grow up on lying. A friend calls. The child answers. Yes, Daddy, it's your friend. Tell him I'm not here. My father says he's not. You're teaching your child to lie. A true practicing Muslim never lies. So, the third is lowering the gaze. So many times I walk in the market, in the streets, in the souk. I find a brother with a practicing sister, mashallah, walking. And the guy, you know AWACS? You don't know AWACS because we're from Saudi, we know a lot of military stuff. AWACS is a plane that has a radar on top of it. And this flies all over and it controls all communication and it monitors anything that is flying. This man is like an AWACS. And whenever he sees a woman, he looks her up and down, and with his wife. A lot of the sisters call me, Sheikh, my husband is doing this and it's hurting me. Beside the fact it's a sin, it is killing me that I'm walking with my husband and he's looking freely to women. No. Part of his moral conduct and good character that he lowers his gaze. Because if you allow yourself to do this, then you might as well allow her to do this as well. Would you accept this? No. Why? I'm a man. It doesn't seem so. Being a man does not permit you to do this. And the last point, it's not the last, it's one of so many, but this is just an example. He should be tolerant. He should be tolerant. Tolerant to what? To his wife. as we've seen the Prophet ﷺ do with Aisha when she was jealous. Did he react? Very tolerant. Didn't do anything. Not only that, sometimes your tolerance is your survival. Aisha was with the Prophet ﷺ in her house. Zainab bin Jahsh, may Allah be pleased with her, the cousin of the Prophet. So she is related to him. And she is one of the most beautiful wives of the Prophet ﷺ. She comes and she starts to curse Aisha. You did this, you always take him with you, he loves you most, you do. And she starts, and Aisha says, and I'm looking at the Prophet ﷺ, I'm not replying, I'm not saying anything, respecting the Prophet ﷺ. Until I saw the Prophet's face change as if he wants me to, what? To answer back. And when I saw this, I gave her. And I returned everything that she had and a little bit extra. And I can see the satisfaction in the Prophet's face. And when I finished, he said, this is the daughter of Abu Bakr. Being proud of her. So, he tolerated Zainab. He didn't speak. Why? Because we need tolerant husbands. I don't think tolerant husbands do. They need, huh? Don't get me wrong. Women need tolerant husband. Why? Men would justify this, yeah, Sheikh, because they have little brains and they... No, it's not because of that. Their nature is full of passion, compassion, love, and impulsiveness. They don't hide, they speak on the spot. If you're like this, the house will ignite. So the best way of having a good marriage is compromise. If the husband pulls, the wife lets go. And when the wife pulls, the husband pulls. No, you also let go. So this way you have the perfect marriage. You'll always be happy. If you tolerate your wife, you will find out that she will come and appreciate it in a very strange way. My wives will not watch this, so inshallah, I have no problems. Sometimes one of my wives would be so angry. She would curse, she would break a dish, she would say bad things about me, and I would not open my mouth one word. Nothing, khalas. Until after an hour or two, she comes down. What does she do? She comes and kisses my foot, wallahi. I didn't do anything. She kisses my foot and says, I'm sorry, I know I crossed the line. Jazakallah khair for tolerating me. Now, do you think this is easy for me as a man to tolerate? Not that I'm a good husband. I have a lot of shortcomings. If she talks, you will listen to many stories more awful than this. But it's hard for me to tolerate. But I do this, first of all, for the sake of Allah. Second of all, because I know her character. And whatever she's saying is not correct. People come to me, Sheikh, I divorced my wife. Why? Sheikh, she kept on saying, divorce me, divorce me, divorce me for 3 hours. And I say, okay, then what did you do? So I divorced her. Okay, what did she do? She started crying. You divorced me? This is natural. This is nature, human nature. When a woman asks for a divorce, do you think she wants divorce? No. But she's impulsive. When she asks for divorce, you tell her, Wallahi, I will not divorce you. I love you. Liar, you do this, you do that. Whatever you do, I still love you. Calm her down, calm her. But if you divorce her or if you fight against her, then this is not what a woman needs. This is not what a woman wants. You have to be tolerant, and this is the sunnah. What is the evidence behind this one and this one? The hadith of Fatima bint Qais, if I'm not mistaken. May Allah be pleased with her. She came to the Prophet ﷺ and she said that I have 2 proposals. One from Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan and one from Abu Jaham. May Allah be pleased with them both. What did the Prophet say ﷺ? He told her, as for Muawiyah, he is broke. He doesn't have any penny. Which means that he cannot be generous because he doesn't have money, so he's not your type. As for Abu Jaham, he is a man that never takes his stick off his shoulder. It has two interpretations. Two people always keep their sticks on their shoulder. One is a person who always hits people with it, which means that he's intolerant and he will hit you with his stick. So you don't want him. The second interpretation is he is a second person who puts the stick on his shoulder, meaning he travels a lot. So you don't want a husband who is 2/3 of his life away from you, traveling all the time. No, you need someone to be with you. So these are the two characteristics that are required in a person when he has good moral conduct and good character. The second characteristic is he should be practicing. A woman wants someone who's practicing. One, these are in one. So this is.
No, my question is, why you put it first?
Importance is not in category. So the brother is asking, why didn't we put the first things first and so on. This is, when I wrote it, I didn't think of categorizing it or putting it in order in regard of what is most important. But definitely, it might be also because, see, I can always find, I'm good in interviews. It is not, it might be, it is the hadith order. The Prophet said, in the hadith, whenever someone comes to you with good moral conduct and character and deen. So the Prophet made it number one. So I'm following the sunnah. Sorry. Yes, okay. This is the hadith, by the way. So this is the order of the Prophet. But linguistically and fiqh, whenever we have two or three, it doesn't mean that always the first one is a priority. Because in some ayats, we have Haruna wa Musa. And we know that Musa is, the majority of mentioning Musa and Harun, it's Musa first. But there are one or two places in the Quran where Harun is preceded. And the scholars say, in Arabic, the word, the letter wa, this is conjunction, and. This does not mean order. While thumma means order. Fa means order. There are many examples I can give you. So here it doesn't. Yet, mainly speaking, usually it is. That's why the Prophet says, when he climbed Safa, he recited the ayah, Inna Safa wal Marwa. He said after that, I begin with what Allah has begun with. That's why he started from Safa and then Marwa, because this is the order. But in Arabic, no, it does not mean it has to be in sequence. What were we talking about? Practicing. I don't know if we have anything else. No. Practicing, meaning that he has to be a person committed to his religion. Not necessarily a scholar. Not necessarily a hafiz. Not necessarily even someone who is literate. He can be illiterate. The Prophet was, Allahumma salli alayhi, illiterate, but he was the best of mankind. So when we say practicing, meaning that he knows that this is haram and he stays away from it. And he knows that this is mandatory and he does it. Now if I have someone with, mashallah, degrees and experience and an orator, yet he doesn't pray on time. He doesn't lower his gaze. He doesn't speak the truth all the time. Would I call him truthful? I know a lot of brothers with this long beards that are the biggest liars. This is a sign of hypocrisy, And also among the sisters, you know a lot of sisters among you that may lie, that may cheat, that may never keep a promise, that when they have a dispute or an argument, they excel in evil. وَإِذَا خَاصَمْ Fajr, the Prophet says, alayhi salam. This is a very big defect. So Allah says, Azza wa Jal, in the Quran, this is too small. Okay. Bad statements are for bad people, or bad women are for bad men, and bad people are for bad statements, or bad men for bad women. Al-khabithatu lil-khabithin wal-khabithuna lil-khabithat. Surah An-Nur. So this is by default. This is the norm. And this can be in this dunya, and it also can be in the hereafter, because one would complain and say, okay, Prophet Lut, his wife was khabitha, kafir. Prophet Nuh, his wife was likewise. So how can we combine? We combine by saying that this is the norm. There can be exceptions, or we can say that this is on the day of judgment. So only the righteous men would have righteous women. But tentatively speaking, you have to have this as a choice. Now, unfortunately, we find the defect in marriage when sisters compromise. So the sister asks in the question, she's religious, she's practicing, the one proposing to her is not as practicing. So I get questions, sisters coming and saying, a man proposed to me. He's a good family, he's rich, he's so and so, but he works in an interest-based bank that deals with clear-cut riba. No doubt in that. Or he works in TV and he's part of showing movies and music and haram stuff. Or he sells forbidden things. Alcohol, works in a restaurant that sells un-Islamic food, pork, etc. So is this permissible? And the answer is no. He says, but I will inshallah try to guide him. The answer still is no. You should only take someone who is practicing. A lot of the sisters, unfortunately, disobey my advice. They go and marry, and they either deteriorate or divorce. They would give in, compromise. Do not compromise your religion. Allah Azza wa Jal would send you someone who fears Him. Thirdly, lineage. So now the brothers are looking into their lineage. A woman should take someone in her same social status or better. But is this a must? No. It's not, this is part of being or having a perfect marriage, when these conditions are fulfilled. And in some schools of thought, if a woman marries someone who is below her social status, the cousins have the right to nullify the marriage contract. Imagine that. They have the right to go to the judge and complain, and they say, our cousin married this man and he's not from our type, he's not from our status, and we're affected by that. That's why we would like you to void the contract, and the qadi does this. And we have cases in Saudi Arabia like this. This is not correct. This is not authentic, but it is found in the schools of thought. So when you take someone, try your best to take someone that does not offend the rest of your family. Because you do not come from, you're not an orphan. You come from a tree. So you have to honor the whole family as much as possible. Among the characteristics that is required in a husband, he should be strong and honest. And this is mentioned in Surah Al-Qasas, when Musa, peace be upon him, fled Egypt. He found two women unable to water their sheep, so he volunteered, and then he went to a tree to rest. Then one of them, of the girls, she suggested to her father to hire him. She said, "Oh father, hire him. Verily the best of men for you to hire is the strong and the trustworthy." So these are two characteristics a woman requires in a husband. Being strong, that does not mean he has to be a bodybuilder. This is not what is meant by strength. Though it's nice to have, but not necessarily. Why? If you remember the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, a strong believer is better than a weak believer. And in both of them there is khair, there is goodness. What is meant by a strong believer? Scholars say a strong believer physically, emotionally, economically, knowledge-wise, fighting skills-wise. So all aspects he's considered to have strength. So if you have a 5-foot tall husband and he weighs 45 kilograms, you don't file for divorce. He said, no, he's not strong, Sheikh. Whenever I walk with him, the air comes and the wind blows into, I have to hold him with a string like a kite. And sometimes, no. Look at the other features. How is he when it comes to honoring your family? Oh, Sheikh, he, mashallah, he respects my mother and my father loves him so much. He's strong. How is it when he is in his office? Oh, mashallah, he's very good, has good position, respectful, and the managers love him and his subordinates respect him. Good. How is he financially? Then this guy is strong. It's not necessarily physically. The second is he should be honest. And honest is different than truthful. Truthful is what you say. Honest is amana. I can trust you. And that is why